Hi, everyone. Two quick things before this episode starts. If you were listening on Spotify, there's now a poll for you to participate in. The content of that poll is obvious once you get to the end of the episode. Also, through Anchor, you now have the ability to send us a short voice message. So go ahead and leave us a question or comment, and maybe you will hear yourself on the next episode, tentatively scheduled for September 23rd. All right, everyone. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 70th episode of Reddit Talks Clash, the podcast run by the moderators of r/Clash of Clans. Now, everyone, before we get into the action, can we please take a moment to mourn the death of our great Queen Elizabeth II, who has now finally kicked the bucket? I'm sure my American friends here will join me in this very sad occasion.
This is actually a great opportunity for everyone who listens to this to comment where you're from to your comfort level, because of the mod, there's only one of us who's from the UK.
Yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I am grief-stricken right now. I'm sure everyone from the UK is the same right now.
I was on Twitter, and one of the content creators posted that the Queen meme with the healers, and then it was grayed out, and he said, this meme doesn't work anymore. And then I commented on Twitter, I said, she got caught by a single target Inferno Tower.
Oh, dear.
And people did not like that response.
To be fair, I'm surprised we haven't seen some amazing Queen Death memes on the sub so far. But, hopefully it'll come soon. But anyway, moving on.
Most upvoted post of all time still
it's the one where I got downvoted to hell on. The new top one.
Yeah.
It's the
number one
for a different time, but for the longest time it was healers behind the Queen of England.
Yeah, the new top post is that when you see your clan leader on Zoom or whatever. It's the one where I got really downvoted on. That's why I remember it. But anyway, swiftly moving on from the Queen. My name is Sam. I'm joined by Congressman Cool Rick.
Hi.
Frank Bang or Lion and Spencer.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
So we've got a good pod today because finally we've had some stuff happening. We've had Clash Fest.
Finally, Mac isn't here.
Well, I was edgy on it. But we've got Clash Fest. We've had Darian having a lovely flurry of activity on the sub, which has given us some good content to talk about. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of other fun stuff to go with. So should we start with Clash Fest? How are you guys finding it?
I love it.
I think it's really cool that they're adding this to the game, kind of like rebranding Worlds, kind of. It gives the community a lot more to do. I really like the events.
Being positive about Worlds right now?
Just because they're making it more community-based, which I think is great. No one else is going to watch the actual World Championships.
Well, and I think a big part of it too. I think a big part of it too is that people didn't really know when Worlds was and didn't have a huge amount of warm-up time to get ready for it. And I think it was super smart to have this Clash Fest that's really turning people onto the scene, several weeks in advance, so they can start to hear about it, the marketing behind it, and plan to watch it sometime.
Though I still don't think the marketing is purely focused on the world side of it. For example, if you just go onto the game and do the challenges, there is little mention of worlds. For example, I don't even think the Carbon Fin challenge said the rewards if you got the fastest time. It just said more information can be found somewhere. So I don't think they're pushing the world thing super hard. But it's a cool month. I mean, it's weird because it feels like it's like another anniversary almost. They've kind of made another holiday, which is quite cool. But I'm all for it.
Just out of curiosity, have any of you guys done the challenge for Carbon Fin yet?
Well, less is more one.
Yeah.
I was at work. I was trying to do it, but it is pretty hard to get a small housing space. I like the strategy with the loon and the clone spell. Yeah, but then I saw someone only used one housing space today, and that's pretty insane. I don't know how they did it.
Scripting.
Yeah, that sounds. I'll be completely honest, I haven't even done the challenge. I got really hooked on Carbon's Goblin Maze, but then Yuta's challenge I just actually haven't done. But Carbon's Goblin Maze, I tried so hard on that, and I still don't quite know how some people got such a good time. I think my best time was exactly a minute remaining. I don't know about you guys. What did you get?
I never even finished it, to be honest.
You didn't finish it?
No, it's
I wasted hours of my life on that, and you didn't even finish it.
Yeah, I figured if I really got into it, if I like printed out a map with the traps and measured everything, I could eventually get that best time, but that would take hours. And I'd just
worth it to go to Worlds.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it to do it, but didn't really try as hard as I probably should have. I finished with a minute 30 left.
What about you, Rick?
I don't know my best time. I know I screwed around and finished it. I was able to complete it a couple times, but I don't really need a trip to Finland through that route.
Why would that be?
So I'm going, but also I don't know. Like I was just screwing around and trying to just complete it, and like I was on a call with Trample Damage, and we were playing around. I know I'm not competitive enough to be in the running for any of this stuff, so I just hey, free potion, 10 gems, whatever.
I mean, I don't know why I thought I could do it. I guess the thing was, like, with Utah's challenge, for example, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of defenses. There's a lot of troops. And I feel like if you were to try really get the smallest housing space, you'd have to plan that so carefully and think how many different kind of options you'd have to try. And that sort of thing kind of overwhelms me. But then with Carbon Finn's challenge, you got your sneaky and you got your invis and one haste. And it was much kind of simpler in a way that I could digest it easier and try get a good time, because there weren't so many different variables. But even then, I was still a good few seconds off the top time. So
there's a lot of luck involved with that one too. Like I could do
definitely.
Yeah, I could do everything the exact same way, time after time after time, and then like sometimes the bombs did enough damage. Sometimes the goblin took, was a couple pixels off, and the bomb didn't get him, or I don't know. But
I think I might have complained to you about this. The fact that I noticed the sneaky goblin has different targeting times just randomly. And this isn't my dodgy invis placement or anything. It was consistent. I noticed if I got, quote unquote, a fast sneaky, every single time he targeted something, it would be quick. Then other times I would get a slower sneaky who would retarget things just slower every single time. And it seemed to be completely random just based on the turn I was having, which was really, really weird. And I ended up having to restart a load of times because my seeker would just take ages to retarget. And I don't know how that actually works, but there is definitely luck involved in that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like every now and then we'll see one of the devs talk about like just random balance stuff, and especially on the builder base side, where they'll just say, "Oh yeah, there's just some degree of randomness baked into certain stuff." I don't know if goblin speed is one of them, but it's so weird to see them acknowledge that like the randomness is insanely frustrating and a huge source of people's dislike of things on builder base, and then just be like, oh yeah, it's random, we might change it at some point, whatever.
I mean, I don't think randomness and strategy games really gel well together, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Overall, the challenges I think are really cool. They are easy enough to complete to where you don't have to spend a ton of time, like with the with the one that the one that's going on now. Is it Yuta? Is he the guy who designed this one, or is this like Carbon did the maze, right?
Carbon maze. Yuta is the current one, yes.
Yeah, so it's easy enough if you just throw everything at it. It's not difficult to finish and complete, but there's just a lot of room to experiment and try and be competitive if you so desire. What's the current leader right now? It's down to I think like 3 troop space or something last I looked.
I am not sure.
I saw it was down to 1.
No.
What?
How do you do that with 1 troop space?
Someone commented.
I don't even believe that.
Someone commented maybe a goblin cloned on the town hall, and that's what I saw in the comments. I really want to see videos of these attacks. I hope they release them.
Is it only about getting the town hall? Or
No, you have to 3-star
the whole thing.
Yeah, you have to 3-star.
How am I in the minority here who just doesn't see how that's possible?
Well, the heroes and spells.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Heroes don't count. Spells don't count.
All right, I can maybe see it. So currently, Nebrax from I think he's still in Tribe, is leading with 6 housing space. Oh no, I'm looking at September the 6th. I completely lie. Going down a bit, September the 9th. Here we go. The current leader is someone called Theodore, and he has done it with 1 housing space for troops, which is
wow.
It's just like
insanity.
I know, like I really want to see the videos of
absolutely
of that when it comes out, and like I get why no one has them out so far, as I know, but it's gonna be really cool, and it's gonna be pinpoint precision spell placement and just immense clone value.
Though saying that, will these videos be available? Because wouldn't that assume that person recorded
it? It's probably gonna be up to whoever did it. If they recorded it and if they released it. I know we're certainly going to get videos of people who were in the running or have really impressive records, but maybe not the first one. But as far as I know, Supercell's not going to release like a recording or replay of them.
That is one little gripe I had. I wish it did record somewhere your best attack or your best time or whatever, just because I end up having to screenshot all my times just so I can remember what my best one was. I do wish there was a nice little place where they recorded it, but that was obviously a tiny thing. But it is what it is.
These are fun, and they're really stretching it out too. So this is going to go through worlds and beyond worlds. So as of today, I've played them all. They finally got us the rest of them in the dev build, and they're all pretty fun.
Also, as of today, don't you have some other news?
Wow. Oh yeah, and I kind of cruised over it, but yeah, Cart and I think Spencer are gonna go to Worlds.
Oh, well, that's also great news. That's not.
Oh yeah.
There's other news.
Didn't your clan have a good CWL?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would be so much more excited about hitting Champs 1 with my clan.
It's me and I'm in a clan called the Good Guys with Trample Damage. People on Reddit should probably know. Tip Dog from Clash Tips podcast has been hanging out with us there too, and we're cruising our way into Champs 1. It kind of feels like we didn't super earn it because we had a lot of easy wars, which is weird to say in Champs 2. Just a lot of 1 stars, like a clan double hit Tip Dog, really? in a last minute hit, like somebody attacked a base that had already been attacked, and the replay is hilarious because you can just see like it has that full 30 seconds in the start of it where that guy was just staring at it, just going,
Was it the 12 and 14 or 5 and 7 mix up?
Yeah. It definitely was that, because the unhit base was the one in odd number right above him.
Some people have talked to them about that. They know about that. But for anyone who's curious to what we're talking about, bases 5 and 7 on a war map, and then 12 and 14, I think those are the 2 pairs, are just like a half step closer to each other than the normal spacing. And so if anyone is going to accidentally hit a different base, it's way more likely that it's one of those.
Yeah, it was exactly 5 and 7.
Dang.
Really, I never knew that.
Poor guy.
I know, I accidentally scout the wrong bases a lot doing that. I've never hit the wrong base doing it.
What I have done incorrectly is before I sometimes FC a lot before I do a war attack. Usually it's if I'm doing something risky like a skelly donut and I need a bit of practice. And then because of course the FC screen is identical to a war screen when you attack, I have accidentally been scouting a base, trying to plan, and then somehow something in my brain makes me press attack, and I kind of think, I don't know what my brain does. It kind of goes into autopilot, and I end up in this war attack with half an army, and it is awful. I don't know how I managed to do it, but something just leads me to press attack, and that is the entire attack ruined.
Yeah, never hit attack from the screen. Always hit from scout, and always check the checklist.
Oh, I know. Like I do that all the time. I just like in my head, I'm like, okay, scout, check, like good to go.
Oh yeah, every single attack. It's if it's not hard ingrained into you.
And the thing I've been screwing up though is on certain attacks, like when you're cloning stuff, you need to leave some of your clan castle empty. And I've been doing that little check thing for years now, and I had a I've messed it up more in Legends. I haven't messed it up in CWL yet, where I want to do like a clone super minion kind of hit,
right?
And then I'll drop and I'll look and like, man, that's a lot of barbs.
Yeah,
The OP clone barb strat. So, Rick, do you have any aspirations now as a Champs on clan? Are you going to be competing in Worlds next year? Or what's the future then?
No. I don't like a lot of the guys in the clan are talking about just like camping out and not competing in Champs 1 and like trying to move up another clan, which it was just dumb. That's weak. Like I'd rather take 8th and get pushed back into Champs 2 and be competitive again next month. But maybe I'm not alone. It's not gonna be my decision.
Well, talking about Worlds, we do have tomorrow, today for me actually, stage 4 of the World Championships qualifiers, which will be the last 4 out of 8 golden tickets for Worlds. Yeah. So I think they know it's down to the last 8 teams now. I know everyone here will probably tell me no one cares about Clash of Clans esports, but it's relevant, so I'm going to go for it. We'd like to hear the teams that are in the running.
Yes.
Right, so let me get them. So it is 8 teams. Most of these names should be familiar to everyone. So we got Space Station Gaming, Queen Walkers, Inquisition Gaming, Reporter Gaming, Marcus Esports, Marshall's Kiss, who I think is Bad Zinger. I don't know why they're called that, but I believe it is Bad Zinger. GS, whoever they are, and Blind Esports. So it's very interesting that someone like Queen Walkers don't have a ticket yet. I think they've been to every single World Championship so far. So it'll be interesting to see if they crash out. Because obviously, typically they are usually the fan favorites. But yeah, have any of you guys watched Worlds at all? The qualifier stage, or have you skipped?
I haven't kept up with it too much this year, but I watched the other years of it, and Queen Walkers is my favorite team. I'll be super bummed if they don't make it.
So yeah, it's going to be 4 of those 8. So
it will be, yeah.
Like there could definitely be an upset, which I think would make it interesting.
There are every single team here I recognize apart from GS, and they're all very, very capable teams. And with Clash of Clans, it's not like there can't be an unfortunate mishap or there are so many variables. Obviously, there are top teams, but they're still very liable to making mistakes. They can easily be upsets in Clash esports. Though I do always find interesting that the top teams do consistently, or the established teams do consistently make it to the top teams, because obviously I remember months ago people complaining about how unbalanced Channel 14 is, but yet it is always the established teams that make it to the top of Worlds. So there clearly is a large skill difference between them and just regular clans. I assume it's the hours they play, though I don't know how exactly they manage to sustain those hours, as I expect lots of players must have jobs or something. But they clearly play a lot. I don't know quite how they manage it.
I think most of the guys on like those top teams are paid by esports company
organization. Yeah,
pretty often. Like Queen Walkers, I'm like 90% sure that they're all full-time clashers off of sponsorship stuff.
I mean, they're now sponsored by Mishtaba and Stephanie, because they are technically now Queen Walker Stephanie. Just I never call them that. Yeah, I do remember Maxi from Tribe Gaming, who is now actually a caster for Worlds, which is very exciting.
That'll be actually. I want to pause for just a second and talk about how cool that is, because that's when it seems like a lot of esports start to actually take off. Is that second wave of like casters and analysts that used to play pro, because it was cool when they were leaning on content creators, and I think kind of necessary too, because it brings their viewership into the world's viewership to an extent. But I think it was definitely noticeable last year that they just didn't quite have like as many pro opinions about all of it.
Though they did have Itsu.
Right, yeah. So that was going to be one exception that I was going to say. Itsu is like absolutely way up there. But to have Eve Maxi join Itsu and, to think of what it could look like in 2 or 3 years, where most of the analysts are these exceptionally qualified former pros, I think that's
and Woody.
So I just wanted to say that before we breeze past it.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree.
There's a lot of times where those kind of guys bring a lot more to the table when they're calling it. Sam, you probably don't watch American football. I would line to you.
I don't know.
A little bit, mostly college.
Yeah, so I mean, like last year, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning started doing the Manning cast, and like before then, Tony Romo made the move into announcing too, and they're by far the best announcers watching football too, because they have intimate knowledge of what it's like on the field. So I'm hoping that watching guys like Maxi call Clash is going to be a lot more informative, other than random screaming, "What is going on?"
Woody.
I like Woody. Get out of here.
Just I don't like.
Can't stand him.
So much of it is just it feels so forced to watch these guys start yelling and get overexcited and do the whole "what is going on" kind of bit.
I definitely get the need for some sort of hype. Otherwise, it is more dull. But the issue is that Woody, I don't think, plays the game. Which
he's definitely just like an esports.
Like he's got to be somebody who's just like buddy from college or something.
Oh, he's definally friends with someone from Supercell.
No, semi-pro casting. He was on the 100 Thieves payroll, I think, at one point. I hope I'm that up.
You are right on that.
Yeah. He might not have known much about the game, but like his whole shtick was video game casting.
Yeah, I do agree. He definitely has that personality, but
well, and I think part of it too is that a lot of the content creators that they brought on in the first couple of years, they didn't do this quite as much, in other years, but it's a bunch of YouTubers who are used to taking a ton of takes and what they do is really cool for the community, incredibly valuable, but it is just like an inherently different skill set than actual like live, basically like radio,
Which is why also Carbon, Finn, and Eric are quite good, because they do stream, so they do know how to adapt to that different format. And obviously, also, I think we forgot to mention Carbon was a pro player, but years ago now. So I guess
and so was Eric in that regard. So I think the team of like Eric, Carbon, Itsu, and Maxi, like at least to someone who's interested in the highest tier play of the game, that's a much more interesting dynamic of people for me to listen to than like Klaus and Galadon. And I was a big Klaus fan at the time when
that's who that guy is. I was looking at I was watching the 10 years of Clash like part 2 video earlier today, and there was all the clips from like the first World Finals, and I was like, who is that guy? Who's that blonde guy next to Galadon?
Yeah, that was Klaus.
Yeah.
In the glory days.
Yeah, I totally agree. They can definitely offer something which people like Judo and Lady B couldn't. I think Judo recognized that. I do definitely remember him saying somewhere, it could have even been on the pod, I remember that he became, he was aware that he wasn't a pro player and he had to fill his niche elsewhere, which he has done obviously amazingly with easily to understand tutorials and just that kind of personality he has. But there is definitely a difference between the analysis he can give to someone like Itzy or Maxi or Carbon or whoever. Though not saying I love Judo, but I think he recognizes that too. So it is definitely great that they have now got a more ex-pro centered lineup that also have good presentation skills. Yeah, that is the kind of perfect combination they want. I do wonder how long they'll keep Woody around for. I assume a long time. But yeah, he's clearly divisive, but I cannot listen to him for more than 5 minutes.
I think at the end of the day, they just need someone who's a good host, and it's helpful if you know about Clash. but like more of a normal person. And it feels like Woody has played a bunch of different roles in the last few years, between like the play-by-play caster to try and make the attack itself as hype as possible, to like the host type of figure. And I think there's a good little niche that they can find for him.
Yeah, like if he just steered into it and would say, hey, like what is going on here? If he was the guy to ask questions, to give the other host a chance to explain stuff to the audience, I think that would work real well too. Because a lot of the, it's so weird watching like the World Finals being streamed to like 1,000 people only. But yeah, I don't know, like making it more entertaining is going to be crucial to the long-term success of it going. It's still fun and it's entertaining, and if you're into the Clash competitive scene, you're obviously going to watch it and enjoy it. But like everyone has their preferences on who's going to call stuff, but like ultimately, I'm just hoping that it's not going to be 5 hours 2 days in a row of the same attack against the same kind of bases over and over and over again.
Right, yeah. I mean, fortunately, it has moved away a little bit from just Skybrid or Hydra spamming, but Air is still Super Dragons have gone now, yeah. But Air is still a dominant meta in general. Fortunately, Super Bowlers kind of alleviated that, but if you look at pro play, there is actually still quite little Super Bowlers. So, I mean, as we all love watching a well-executed Lalo attack, but watching 50 of them does err on the repetitive side. So yeah, hopefully they do mix it up. Hopefully maybe there is a balance change in between. I mean, we don't have long, so probably not, but something to shake up the meta would be nice. Though I feel like we won't move away from ground-based, from an air-based meta until 10-15, where they can really revamp it, which nicely leads us on to our next topic. So, 10-15, it should be what people are thinking quite soon. Obviously, there was lots of rumors that we could be getting some sort of announcement at Worlds. I'm
gonna be so mad if I don't see Town Hall 15 in Finland.
Yeah, I think so. My thought this whole time was that it would be the winter update, because that's typically when the Town Hall drops have been for the last. I mean, it's 18 months, but the last like winter.
18 months.
Yeah. It's been the winter time, but with the way that Darian's post was, and the way that they're really hyping up for Worlds, I am so hopeful it's going to be the fall update.
Yeah, weirdly, I think they could really bring some good promotion to Worlds if they announce it at Worlds more than it helps them for announcing Town Hall 15. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have been aware that Darian has been commenting around on the sub recently, and actually interesting quite a lot about builderbase, because as we know from a blog post that came out around the time of Clan Capital releasing, they do actively want to revamp builderbase. They know it had flaws, they know it does have flaws, and they are looking to change that. They said it definitely wouldn't be this year, so we are looking at 2023. But Darian has been more active on subreddits and just commenting on what it could look like. I do want to stress could. He has said that anything he says are just ideas that are being laid out and by no means concrete. But I would like to focus on a specific comment he made about some aspects they've at least identified. So firstly, it's the inability to quit the match once you've completed your attack as you wait for your opponent to finish. I'm sure you've all had moments where someone is using sneaky archers and you just have to wait 10 years before you can move on to the next attack. They've also apparently discussed removing the head-to-head aspect altogether, which is
huge.
Crazy. That is a huge change. They also said that they would like to add more functionality and benefit to other aspects of the game as you progress your builder base, rather than make it feel isolated. So I guess more auto-style things. Obviously, I doubt they're going to add a 7th builder, but that kind of interaction between the home village and the builder base would be great. Obviously, these are all just ideas and nothing that's going to change. But I think, honestly, the most interesting one is removing head-to-head altogether. which seems like rather drastic.
I'm so excited.
The head-to-head limitation has kind of been their go-to line about why we can't expand builder base in a lot of ways, because people say, what about builder base wars? And they say, well, we can't because it's head-to-head. Or why can't we do, whatever? And we can't because it's head-to-head. And you have you have to have both people online at the same time. And so I know, but also a lot of what Darian was saying about the builder base revamp was just rolling back expectations and saying, hey, we don't have to be a hard reset for for it to be a revamp of something. We can do a huge revamp of a very small portion of it.
I mean, to his credit, you can't do a full revamp because undoubtedly people have spent money on builder base, and at the very least time, I'm almost max builder hall 9, and to be fair, I would be a bit pissed off if it all just got erased. So I do.
I wouldn't be.
I do.
I'm also
Darren's credit.
pretty much max. I think if they completely remove it, no matter how much fun and effort people have put into it, if it's for just a better product, I don't think I'll be upset. I know there's a set chunk of people who might be, and they're the same chunk of people who just love builder base as it currently is, who are going to be upset anyway. But I spent years working on mine and throw all of it away if I'm going to enjoy the new game mode more.
I definitely see where you're coming from, and I would personally agree with you, but I do think that they would just default to, look, people have actually probably sunk thousands of dollars into this space, and it's a bit disingenuous to just remove the whole thing. But you never know, they might do it.
It's not going to get removed.
It's not a wrong take. What my dream for builder base would be is just to clone warships out of Boom.
No, I was gonna say that.
And then
I saw your comment with it.
What's warships?
Yeah.
So
we've never played Boom.
Explain it.
So warships is the builder base equivalent for Boom Beach, and what it is you get a little mini base, and it resets every single month, fully resets, and you don't have to build. You don't invest. Your resources in the same way. There are different currencies that you unlock by winning matches, but you start off with 2 engine rooms, which are kind of town hall analogs, and a small amount of defenses, and you have a skill tree that you choose which path you want to upgrade on, and it's full of defenses and troops, and there's a lot of variability on how you can go about it. And as you win more, you unlock more of the tokens and money, whatever they're called. I don't pay attention too much in Boom Beach, even though I play it all the time. But you just progress through this skill tree every month, and it's a big ranking leaderboard, and it's really fun. And it every month it resets, and there's a new different skill tree, and there's different metas that evolve and different base designs that are capable of. And then at the end of the month, it just all translates into trader tokens, which for Clash would be, I don't know, raid medals.
Raid medals.
Yeah, raid medals or CWL medals, or something like that.
Interesting.
I think that's actually a really strong idea for what it could be, because anyone who looks at Boom Beach in general and says maybe it's just a beachfront attack type of thing, I think that's a lot of elements that they kind of borrowed in quotes into the clan capital. So I think clan capital is what their general Boom Beach reflection of how it would be in Clash of Clans is, but builder base being off of the more niche version of warships, I think would be super cool. But I think whatever they do, as long as they tie raid medals to it somehow, it's going to see a huge uptick in people playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did. I think integration with the home village would definitely be a winning idea, though they need to make sure it's a fun experience, because even if you can get cool rewards, if you're not enjoying it, that will still leave people complaining, naturally. But yeah, hopefully they do definitely go ahead with that more home village integration. I still think that removing head-to-head would be a true revamp, because really that is what sets it apart from the home village, right? I mean, sure, you don't have spells, defenses are different, but if it follows that exact same format of how home village attacks works, it does reduce almost the need for builder base, because obviously the 3 villages we have now all have completely different styles of attacking. I do think they need to keep that in some form to actually make the case for having a separate village there. So hopefully they
I see
don't.
what you're saying. That like the head-to-head, especially just judging how you won an attack being based off of how the other person was performing, gave it a unique, like, individual level of competition that you don't really feel in the main village. And I think that was their goal. I don't think the way that it was laid out actually hit that goal super well, because I rarely ever attack in builder base and think like, am I beating this person, like in that head-to-head sense? But I also don't trophy push in builder base. I think if there was a reason to, or something behind it, I think the idea behind builder base was to have a really great competitive trophy pushing environment that is just so unique to Legends. Legends.
I can't remember if I've made this up or someone like Darian actually said this, but this quote is either from me or Darian, but that builder base was kind of designed to be this thing you do while your army is training. It wasn't meant to be a whole new village.
I heard that same thing.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm not making it up. That's a good start. But it's not.
Oh, like where you heard it was that like part 2, 10 years of Clash video.
Yeah, it was recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I watched it like half an hour ago.
I don't think I've even watched that. I swear I've heard that before.
Rick was prepping for the pod tonight.
I know. I was like, man, I should watch this in case we talk about it.
Which is this the new videos they've released?
It was two days ago.
Yeah, I haven't watched that. So clearly, I've heard that from somewhere else. But yeah, back to the point. Like, it is meant to be a side thing, and obviously that is such a hard thing to tell people when you introduce a new village. Like, you're not meant to play this much, and it doesn't matter if you don't enjoy it. I don't know. Obviously, it's a weird message, but like at the end of the day, you shouldn't be putting in as much time into builder base as you should the home village. So I don't know if they intended to have some sort of really vibrant trophy pushing environment, because that would suggest they wanted people to kind of main builder base instead of the home village, which I don't think was their intention. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, and I think that's part of what Darian was saying when he was making some comments about this, is that community's expectations were different than what builder base actually was when it first came out. And that's like a very gracious way of phrasing that, like, to Supercell, because I think what the problem was is that there was no communication about what to expect. There was just a vote one day. And like, I don't know if you guys remember that, but anybody who was playing at that time, like, my brother, I'm in a clan with him. He texted me one morning and just said, "There's a vote," and that was it. And there is no like, there's about it. There's no reason to it was just so confusing to everybody. There's just a random vote,
They hyped up builder base so much. It was like there was tons of events where they replaced the builders for a long time. It was like it was a week of having giants as builders and a week of having like witches as builders.
Yeah. But like, but it didn't tell us what builder base was by any means.
No, not at all.
And so all I'm saying is that I think the reason why it never turned into this competitive environment, like Supercell says, there was this lack of like expectations from the community's end, or just that it was different. And I think the reality is that we had no idea what to expect because we weren't told. And then we get this game mode that seems kind of conducive to individual competition, but then like later on get the impression from Supercell that it's just, something in passing. It was just confusing across the board.
I do think and hope that they have learned their lesson about expectation management. I think Darian has definitely directly addressed their faults. I think he did. I think he, maybe in weasel words, but did say, yeah, we approached it wrong. So hopefully that any revamp they do will be communicated better. I mean, you just have to look back at Clan Capital. That was communicated better. Sure, it was a gradual introduction, but you kind of knew what you were getting, right? You didn't come to the update not really knowing what you were getting.
If we don't get a half-hour YouTube video about the new builder base, I'll be upset.
Oh, absolutely. I want that production quality they had for that teaser video for Clan Capital back, because that did get me excited for it. That was a very cool video. So, and if Clash can do anything well, it is make good promotional videos. So yeah, that better be something good for builder base.
But all of that is to say, if there's something that the average clasher doesn't care about besides worlds, it's builder base. So maybe we should talk about the real game.
I don't know. I guess the last thing I'll say was the big thing holding up any major revamp of builder base is like, how do you give people auto if you don't have 18 levels of carts and a level 30 guy to get to over months and months and months. And I don't know.
Gems.
Yeah, no, I think they have to keep the functionality of the 7th builder no matter what. And I think tying that and raid medals is about all that they need to do for integration. And if they want to do anything cool and creative, good for them. But I think between raid medals and auto, keeping that tied to builder base somehow, that's really the big things.
Here, something that was asked in a comment too. I was wondering what you guys think. Is some guy Saggy VP just said, I hope Town Hall 15 doesn't bring 4-week upgrade times, which is obviously like insane. But how long do you think Town Hall 15 upgrade times are going to cap out on?
Well, what are they now at Town Hall 14? Because I have Gold Pass and I don't actually know.
20.
Yeah, without Gold Pass, it's 20 or 21, right?
20 days. Okay.
Yeah, it's 20.
I could see it being stepped up to well, maybe it should go up to 24, 22, though. The thing is, when they add new levels, time for upgrades usually goes down in lower levels.
For lower level stuff.
Right, yeah. But that would mean they wouldn't necessarily need to add much more time, because it would balance out by just lowering time for lower levels. Right.
But that's what they've done for the last couple of Town Hall releases, is that they've put the new one out and lowered the time for the rest, but the overall time still increasing.
Yes, that's true.
So there's been a creep of time inflation over the last halls.
At the end of the day, if you're upgrading something that takes 20 days, an extra 2 days, an extra 4 days isn't really, it's not some sort of huge difference which you're gonna agonize over when you're already waiting almost 3 weeks as it is. So I mean, anyone who gets to that stage of the game should know what to expect, because obviously we all see it, the posts where people get to town like 10 or 11 and are freaked out by the 1 week upgrade times. But if you're going to say Town 15 in whenever it comes out, you should be accustomed to the fact that it will take forever. You should also probably have a lot of books and hammers stored up. And realistically, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because you should know what you're expecting.
Anyone who's sitting at max Town Hall 14 right now, has the patience to wait out a 21, 24 day upgrade, whatever they end up being. And I think probably most of us are coming into Town Hall 15 just overly prepared, just fully stocked on medals, stashed up on everything else. So
I'm on clan or CW on medals too.
Yeah, how many magic items and medals and stuff do you guys have?
I will check now. I think I have I just bought every hammer just so I had it, because I've almost maxed my lab now. I'm like a seed machine or 2 off, and I'm not going to spend any magic items really on my final defensive upgrades, apart from if I have to get from the builder, instead of just getting 50 gems. But I can tell you, I've got all the hammers. I've got 2 books of fighting, book of spells, book of heroes, book of everything. I guess Book of Building is the only book I'm still really using because I'm not maxed yet. But I've got all the runes because now I've finished my walls. I've got so much loot to burn. I don't need these runes really. I've got every hammer. If Tower 15 comes out, I should be ready for it. And I assume you're mostly all in the same situation.
Yeah, mine's totally max, and my I actually lost some CWL medals because my capacity was full. So I'm ready for the only thing I am empty on right now is shovels, because I decided to redo my obstacles, and I'm out of shovels right now. But the rest of it,
I just keep one or 2 shovels on hand and just sell the rest of gems, because I often run out of gems.
Shovels have probably the best resale value for gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, I've been sitting at max medals for a long time. I went and bought the Champs 1 statue back in sometime in the spring, and
Was your clan actually in Champs 1, or did you just?
I was I have been to Champs 1 before a long time ago, in right when CWL was brand new, because we had spun the first CWL when Town Hall 12 was max, and put us into like Masters 1 or 2 or whatever, and then we went promote back when more than one clan could promote. So the clan I was in went straight to Champs 1, and then they stopped and stayed there. So technically, I did earn it a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that's also what I'm most excited about now, is getting back to Champs 1, is because I do have that. I do have the Champs 1 statue on my base. And now, like, I feel like, yeah, it feels like I earned it all over again.
So, did you guys, as a kind of final topic to go on to, did you see that Darian posted the results of that AMA they kind of did on Twitter?
Well, wait, before we get into that, if you're talking about this being our final topic, I do want to call out whoever it was who made the Reddit post about which one of the people on the modcast has the smoothest voice.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow Rick won.
I know.
I get it. I had a.
He has the least smoothest voice.
A lot. Oh, Spencer, that's why you're leaning in so close to your mic this episode.
Am I still loud?
Oh yeah.
Just me sitting here going in the mic every 4 minutes. Just I hope you guys.
Oh man,
feel that pain.
I thought my British accent would take me further, but I think I ended up in last.
Americans love accents, dude.
You have a better shot after puberty, Sam.
Okay, right.
I know. So yeah, well, what? Let me pull up that image. 17 votes, which is like, as far as Reddit polls go, you can make the worst Reddit poll in the world and get 700 responses. And this one's been up for 3 days and it has 47. So, but I have 17 votes for the smoothest voice out of all of us. And second would be Spencer at 9, Frank at 8, Mac at 7, and then Sam coming in dead last with his weird little Cockney accent at
I don't
6.
even have. All right, that's fine. I'm not even mad. Like, can you hear my voice? I'm not even mad. I'm just
trying to sing it. I didn't mean to derail us too hard from the AMA, which is just objectively a more important conversation to talk about.
No, I think
it's very important that we discuss how awesome I am constantly.
This is a national disgrace. What would the Queen say right now? Not very good things. I'm telling you that now. I'm sure if the thing is still open, I could get Ninja to vote for me.
So what were you gonna say before?
Right, yeah. Back to the AMA. So I'm kind of skimming through it now. I had read it before, but not in detail. It does seem to be like most of the questions were actually, or at least the ones they answered. I don't actually know what all the questions look like. Were more less game focused ones, more just like, how do you enjoy your work? What's it like at Supercell? But we did get a few things. So someone asked, this is at Repart, our series going to come back to shop like hero skins, and they said that they are planning to bring some of those popular series back to the shop for a limited time later this year. So that's interesting to hear. I don't think I've heard that confirmed anywhere else. So end of this year, we should be getting some sceneries to buy in the shop, which is very exciting. So I don't know if they'll make that a regular thing. Doesn't sound like it at this point, but I'm sure if Supercell see an opportunity to make money, they will take it. Here, another question from Murray Booth asks, is it possible to add a stop attacking button once you pass to your opponent's destruction versus battle? And it said this is something they're currently discussing. So I guess that could be added onto the pile of builderbase stuff. Though I imagine it's probably quite easy for them to say to every builderbase suggestion that they're discussing it, because then they can easily just say, yeah, we tossed it. So will it come? Probably not, but that seems more like a quality of life feature they could add in quite easily, to be honest.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't listening. I was focusing on how terrible your voice was.
Yeah, I know. It's
and we have the data to back that up now.
You do. You had that whole 47 people who have confirmed that you're amazing. Well
you
done.
can get a statistically significant sample from like 1,700 people for the whole U.S. So 47 people out of the entire subreddit. That's hey, like it's been a while since I took stats, but
that's actually a really compelling argument.
It's probably pretty up there from a decent sample size.
But for anybody listening live, I put a link to the poll for you to fill out if you want to. And I'm just gonna say now, for anyone who's listening to this later, I'm gonna convince whoever puts this on YouTube or where you can listen to this to also put a link for it, so we get a better sample size.
Well, the poll's closed now. So
it's closed? Shoot.
Yeah. They only last like 3 days.
I didn't realize they automatically closed.
Well, I think we need a new one in that case. And
go ahead and leave us a review on Spotify or Apple, or wherever you listen.
No, Rick,
and,
don't do
it. And go ahead and reinforce the results of that poll, please.
Oh.
Well, maybe I'll get all of Davey's band accounts to go vote for me. That would
Davey. Oh, God.
Yeah, maybe that's not for here.
We'll have to talk about that on the next one or the future one or somewhere. Yeah. I don't know, but that guy. I love you, dude. But you messed up.
Yeah. Davey's one of our mods, and we realized that one of the bots that we had wasn't working, and we were trying to figure out why, and it's because it's attached to Davey's Reddit account, and he got banned.
His account suspended.
How?
Permanently. Let's go. Spencer, what did you ask?
I was asking how he got banned.
I'm not sure. I think it's a combination.
Once his account's unbanned, we should have him on as a guest to tell people.
Yeah, the great story. I think it's 2 reasons. Probably not going to delve into them here, but
yeah,
we can tell you later, Spencer. But yeah, he might be able to appeal it. Who knows? But for now, our great RC bot is dead, and humor could run rife through the sub for a little bit.
Yeah, that's my task for tomorrow is rebuilding Royal Champ bot. So we need a name for the next Royal Champ bot, the one that is going to remove all the memes 4 days a week.
Can you just name it like Congressman Cool Rick with like something spelled wrong?
Oh, dude. Hey, also, like, since Dave was banned, I wonder if all his fake Rick accounts also got banned too. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, what was his? Was it Congressman Lame Rick?
Congressman Lame Rick was him. Droll Rick was him.
Was that him as well?
Yeah,
I thought he had one.
I know. Like, I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Let me see if I can find it. Wait, what was he? Congressman? There were so many.
And there was one that had like Kong Ass Man, like all caps ASS.
Was that him?
I don't know. Like I get trolled a lot, so.
It is hard being famous, isn't it?
So yeah, I was joking the other night too.
Yeah, I think that's Congressman Joe Rick has been banned.
I know. So like I'm not gonna feel famous or well known in the Clash community until someone recognizes me like in Twitch. So I will hang out and I'll go to random like Twitch streams of guys who are like, have 5 viewers or whatever, and I'll just go in and start talking to them and try and get base reviews and stuff. And just like the egotistical weird part of me is like, dude, like, come on, I'm somewhat known, right? A little bit. I don't know.
Nope.
I just want to be recognized on Twitch just once.
I bet they recognize your voice before your name.
Yeah, clearly.
Maybe.
I don't think you're going to be able to go into like Carmen Finn's stream and then you type in the chat and just the entire chat just explodes. Just they can't believe that Congressman Cool Rick has graced them.
No, so like what I need to do is wait for my Twitch, my Twitch Prime subscription to renew, and then go into like either Judo or like an Eric Twitch stream and then subscribe, so it forces them to like say my name and then see if they will recognize me at that point, because like we have talked. I
would say,
on the podcast.
Judo and Eric hopefully should. If not, that is rather upsetting.
Like that's gonna be such like that's gonna bring me back down to earth so hard if I subscribe to Eric and he's like, Congressman Cool Ray, thank you for the sub, and then moves on.
Or if he just says one of Davy's names for you, one of the other account names that Davy made. For you.
Yeah.
Congressman Drillman.
You got. I'm looking at the Shadowban list. There are currently 3 in here. We got Congressman Drillrick, Congrass, Yeah, I can't. It's funny when you read it.
It's hard to say it out loud, but
yeah. And then also Congressman Cool Dick, which is probably my favorite. I think there are probably more that Davey just removed from the Shadowban list, because he did do that, and it was quite funny.
Like Davey was a masterful troll.
He was a very good troll.
Or very is, good. I guess he's alive still. So
yeah, I'm about to say, told him like he's long gone.
R.I.P. Davey.
I think I think he set my flare to something very inappropriate, which even I would say on the pod. And I still haven't changed it.
I know. So there's a lot of people in the sub who have always been. It comes up with all the flare mistakes that a lot of the time we put onto Spencer, and whose fault all that. Every event winner flare.
It wasn't me.
Is definitely Spencer's fault. 100%. However, there was also one time. There was one time a couple months ago where Davey messed up like everyone's flare himself too, because he was trying to troll me. So he.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Didn't he delete a flare template or something?
Yeah, no. So he changed a flare template to something else that was funny, but unknowingly it was the RCS shield that thousands of people have. So he was trying to troll like me or you.
Yeah, wasn't it like I'm stinky or something? And just
and it ended up like it ended up affecting like thousands and thousands of people who all had like some new stupid flare, like because he was trying to troll you, is what it was.
Oh dear.
Like it was like Zig. Like Zig's flare, probably Frank's and Max too, and yours, like all like in the mod list. Had some stupid flare.
It is great how probably the biggest issues on the sub have come from flares, apart from the cheater incident. But apart from that, the biggest issues we've had have been bloody flares. I cannot stand them. But it seems like we've now hit 3 o'clock or whatever time it is for you, 10. And 7, and I don't think, does anyone else have any shout outs before we wrap up the pod?
Shout out to Supercell. Clash Fest is a good time. Really enjoy it.
Unenthusiastic shout out I've ever heard in my life.
No. All right, real shout out then. Here's my enthusiasm. I think Town Hall 14 was a tough meta for hopefully more people than just me. But I think there was like a moment at the beginning of Town Hall 14 after the hype wore down where like it felt like the game was kind of stale just because the meta was so locked in to Super Dragons or whatever single strap there was at the time. But I think for the last like 6 months now, Supercell's just done a really good job of having something to be excited about, some event going on, Clan Capital update, and all of that's culminating into Clash Fest, which was just like a really smooth transition from the 10/40 years of Clash. So I think we're riding high right now. This is a good time. Shout out to Supercell.
Well, now I've listened to this official Supercell spokesperson. Rick, do you have anything?
I have a lot of stuff. So, I
guess it's going to be Trample, Dog Creates Code, and it's going to be Tip Dog.
No,
this is his whole Oscar speech for finally getting in Champs 1.
I like next month, when we come in first in Champs 1 is when you'll get that.
That's when we get the full.
But no, so I don't know if I do always like shout out other podcasters because I like Clash Audio. I know last night and several other nights I have hung out with the Crystal to Join guys. So Crystal to Join is another podcast. There's a couple podcasts associated with that clan family. I've called out the Only Clash podcast before. That's Hero and Woo. You guys are cool. Ended up talking to Carl and a couple other guys from C2J last night for a couple hours. So just want to say thanks for letting me, crash your parties and have too much to drink and insult you and do my fake Australian accent and all the other random nonsense that you guys put up with. So yeah, if anyone else does want to check out other Clash audio, we do have a huge list of all the active Clash podcasts in the sidebar. It's the link is called Podcast Index, I believe, and you can find links to all of them. And a lot of them have really fun Discord servers too, where you can go and get hammered and swear a lot.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
I would like to inject that the sidebar links for most people on new Reddit aren't there anymore.
What?
Because
What? Did you delete my podcast links from new Reddit?
Hold on.
Hey,
Calm
shout
down.
out to the new sidebar on new Reddit. It looks beautiful now.
And to quell Rick's clear anger, if you look under community resources, there is the Reddit Talks Clash logo. And if you go onto there, there is a page where you can find other Clash Clans podcasts, which includes that big list. So fear not, they're still there before you freak out. Are you happy now?
Yes. I'm always happy.
You're always happy. That's good to hear. Well, I think
I'm in a good mood. I'm in Champs 1, unlike you losers.
Yeah, well, I'm in Masters 2, so get on my level. Well, I think that basically
next month when Rick's in Champs 2 again.
Yeah.
It will take me literally until 2023 to get to your level. Think about that, because that's a solid burn.
I think that'll do it for tonight.
That did take me a second, but right, okay. I hate you. All right, I think that just about wraps it up then, everyone. So thank you to everyone for listening. You can find Red Talks Clash on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically everything. If you've got a podcast app, we're probably on it. If we're not, let us know, and we'll see if we can do something about that. And yeah, thank you, Spencer, Rick, Frank, for being with us today, and thank you to everyone who tuned in to listen, whether that be live or on recording. And we will see you all again in 2 weeks at 9 p.m. Eastern for another pod. So yeah, we will see you then. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.